Welcome to Local SEO in 10. This is your go-to podcast for answers about how you can grow your local business online easily and quickly. Brought to you by local SEO experts, Magnified Media in Walnut Creek, California. In each 10-minute episode, our digital marketing expert, Adam Duran, answers your questions on how you can get more leads for your business fast. Remember, if you're not taking care of this part of your business right now, you can bet your competitors are. And now, here's our host with the questions, Jamie Duran, and our expert with the answers, Adam Duran.
Hello, everyone. Today, I have a special guest actually following up on last week's episode where we talked about ransomware and how that basically, if you get hit with that, it can destroy everything you've been working for. So today I wanted to invite a special guest. His name is Guillermo Aquino, and he is from ManagedTEK. He is a solutions architect there. So Guillermo, welcome. How are you?
Good, great. Good to be here.
All right, thanks for joining me. Today, no Jamie, so you don't have to worry about his wisecracking at all. I think I did, just to give you the cliff notes on what we talked about last week. We had a client who came to us and they said that they had been victims of ransomware. So they woke up one day and all of their data that was on a centralized server in the cloud, so a data security company was managing for them, all of that data was gone. And in its place, they had a message that said $1.6 million or no more data. And so they, after going back and forth with that data security company, they ended up paying. So I'm wondering if you've had similar experiences, and basically at that point, when you wake up and your data is gone, what have you done?
Well, Adam, that's a great question. It's something definitely you have to prepare for ahead of time.
Okay.
Ransomware is very common nowadays. I have a few stories that I went through as well, but just to talk about what your friend experienced, or the firm experienced when they woke up and their data was just gone and they just had a note for $1.6 million. The first thing you want to do when that situation really is understanding how you got breached. Where did the data breach come from? What could it went through email? It could have went through your firewall. There's many ways this could happen. And you kind of need to bring in an expert to kind of determine, and they need to go through forensics and figure out where this happened at. Once you understand that, and the reason that is, I'll give you the reason, because you can clean up everything and it'll happen again. And now you're in the same situation.
Wow.
Yeah, so understanding the situation, understanding what happened, could have been through email. Someone clicked on something on an email and all it did was it ransomwared your whole server. Most people have backups.
Okay.
And sometimes we run into the situation where you had great backups, but your backups got ransomwared as well.
Yes.
And that could be the situation there. I don't know all the details, but
right.
If you're paying out 1.6 million, that means your backups probably got ransomware, or you just didn't have backups. You weren't ready for this situation. So in that state, you have to kind of deal with the company, and a lot of these companies, they're actually organized better than most organizations. Honestly, they usually have a 1A.
This is a ransomware company. Wow. So these are companies.
Yeah. So a lot of them have. They have a 1-800 number. They have a call center. They're set up to do this. This is their sales and marketing funnel, and this is how they're making money.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what our law enforcement thinks of this.
The law enforcement can't do anything really about it because we're dealing with other countries. So you can call your local police department, FBI, everything else. To that extent, a lot of this stuff is intraceable. That again, the reason they want you to use Bitcoin because of how hard it is to track.
Right.
And now you're dealing with somebody in Russia, over in Ukraine, or somewhere, in a different country, totally, and you have to deal with them. And there's nothing you can do at that point.
So you call up this 1-800 number, and then what happens?
Usually, actually, the ransomware usually has a identification number, so they understand what ransom you are.
Oh my,
So now it's like a customer number.
that is
So you give them
terrible.
that number,
Oh,
you
please
call the
don't
1-800
attack
number,
me. Oh God,
yeah,
that's all I want to say.
and and at that point you're kind of they identify who you are and they say, yeah, we got your data, or yeah, we got your, and it's not really that you lost your data technically. What they did is encrypt it.
Right.
They encrypted the data so you can't access your data.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like they give you an unencryption key,
Wow.
and they sell that key at the highest bidder.
Oh, great. Oh,
Yeah.
what a nightmare. So
So
you
go
have
ahead.
gone through this, and then you told. So what happens? You're like, okay, now we want to pay, or what happens then?
So I've had some experiences with other companies. They came to me, hey, I saw you on the web. We've been ransomware. Can you come help us? And I was able to determine what happened. The one I'm thinking of came through email, and basically what happened was their backups got ransomware, just like I described earlier, and I was able to contact the company, the ransomware people, and basically talk them down actually in price.
Oh
I was
wow.
able to talk them down in price. And eventually I got them their data back through an encryption key. Decrypted their machines, and a lot of the machines that were ransomware. Um, the company I was working for at the time, we just didn't want to take the chance. That's how devastating this is. We
Yeah.
just got them new equipment at that point.
Wow.
They just, and a lot of it, some of this is covered with insurance, and some of
Okay.
it's not. That's some of the gray areas in this. So if you have a cybersecurity policy,
Mm-hmm.
there is some there is some coverage there, but you have to have things in place, because no one's going to pay out if you don't have basic things in place like virus protection and a firewall and maybe backups and everything else. They're gonna want you to prove it first, because no insurance company wants to pay out the premiums for ransomware and
Right.
the issues that come along with that.
So what kind of clients do you see that are most susceptible to getting hit with this, with ransomware?
You'll be surprised. I see very very small companies, little accounting firms get hit with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen hospitals where they have a
Wow.
full staff IT, and they still get hit with it. So it
Ooh.
happens. It happens to the small, to the big. I've even seen there's even counties that have gotten hit with it. And it took out the cities, city county, their their facilities, and they're working, and they just were done. They didn't have
All
anything
right.
to work with from. Yeah.
Everybody
So
wrap it up. We're going
yeah,
home. Oh,
basically yes,
wow. That is
yes.
terrible. So, for anyone, I guess you said preparation is key, right? So, preparation, how do you recommend a company, so a law firm, a CPA, a clinic, or something, a smaller uh, company, how do they prepare for this? What do you recommend?
So I recommend them go through a data security process and finding a provider that is going to actually take them through a data security process. And what that is basically there's steps in this process where you go through an identification process. You
Mhm.
identify all the risk in the business. Where does the data
Okay.
live?
Okay.
Does the data live on the server? Does it live in the cloud? Where is the data? So understanding where the data is, then you apply protections to that data. And then you have a detection system. You're detecting events, and then monitoring, and then there's a response and recovery. So can you respond? How fast can you respond and recover from a ransomware or an attack?
Mhm.
So having those that whole process, there's a whole process that has to be done. It's not just throwing virus protection, throwing a backup here and there. It's really going through a risk assessment and putting those things in place. And at the end, and the way you have it done correctly, is you have a data security plan at the end of it.
What's included in your data security plan?
The security plan will identify your risks. It'll identify your protections you have in place.
Mhm.
It'll identify a disaster recovery plan and communication plan and an incident response plan. It's gonna cover all those areas, and the communication plan is one of the most significant things in there, and then it has to be maintained.
Right.
So as you change vendors, you have to update the data security plan. As you move data, you're going to have to update the data security plan. So it's something that's a living document that keeps basically gives you an understanding of what you're doing to protect yourself. And then of course you can back those plans up with insurance. So now you
Okay.
can throw insurance at it and throw another layer of protection in there as well.
So just in case any of your data is breached, your insurance can come in and actually pay for the ransomware?
Yeah, they can pay for the ransomware. They can help pay for your business loss. They can help pay for damages if you have a customer that lost as well. But then the reason they could pay for that is because you have a data security plan. You did all you can do.
Wow. And you did say something about email. So your previous client or someone was hacked through their email. How do you protect email?
So as when I talked about the data security process, when you put in those protections, like most people have email and they don't know 1 out of 11 emails has a piece of malware in it. Most people don't know that. But
Oh my
what you need to
God.
do at that point, and all malware is not as malicious as a ransomware. It could be other things in there. It could be redirects. It could lead to like a phishing. It could be a phishing email. It could lead
Right.
to phishing landing pages, different things to that extent. So what
Yes.
you want to do is get an email provider that you can get something, and I'm just call out a couple names like Office 365 or
Mhm.
G Suite. You have mail from them, and it's not their responsibility to secure your email. So just giving you a heads up, it's
Right.
not their responsibility. It's their responsibility is to deliver your email.
Mhm.
They did their responsibility. Your responsibility as a business owner is to secure it. And the way you do that is you get a provider, an IT provider, security provider that is going to put an appliance in place that's going to wash your email before it comes to your computer.
Oh, wow. So even before I see it, it's
Before
been
you see
checked.
it. Before you see it. So it goes out, because the way email works, a message is sent and it has a domain name attached to it. It goes out to your email server, and before it hits your email server, it can be washed, and then it gets delivered to you, to your business.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah, so basically it's just like taking a load of dirty clothes, throwing in the washing machine, and processing them, and then before you actually receive it. And so what this does is it reduces the chances of you getting infected through email.
Awesome.
Greatly reduces it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. This has been super enlightening. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time. Wow. Are there any final tips that you want to leave us with?
Well, what I would say is you have to take this very seriously. A lot of people don't think this would happen to them. Oh, this happens to large companies. I only hear it on the news, but it happens to small businesses way more than large companies. It actually happens 40 all businesses, small businesses get hit by 40% of them. I think it's the statistic that they get hit, and 60% of those companies that get breached go out of business within 6 months.
Oh my gosh. So not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, it
A
sounds
matter
like.
of when,
Wow.
just like COVID.
All right. Thank you so much, Guillermo, for taking the time to spend with us and educating us a little. If you have future or more questions, definitely go to Guillermo's website. It's ManagedTEK, right? ManagedTEK. What's your website?
It's managedtek.com.
There you go.
Managed ED with TEK.com.
Excellent. You can go there. Guillermo and his team will help protect your business, your data, and if you've are going through this experience, he's a great resource for you because he's experienced. So he's dealt with this many, many times. So thank you very much again. And if you have a future or a question for us for a future episode, you can definitely go to our website or our Facebook page. Facebook page is Local SEO in 10. Website, magnifiedmedia.net. You can click on the podcast link at the bottom of the page. It'll take you to a library of our previous podcasts. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, do me a favor and give us a 5-star rating right there. Until next time, everyone, be safe.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of Local SEO in 10 with Google local marketing expert Adam Duran. Join us each week for answers to your questions on how to best harness the power of the internet to grow your business. Speaking of questions, got some? Message us through our Facebook page, Local SEO in 10, and we'll be sure to give you your answer on an upcoming episode. This episode of Local SEO in 10 is brought to you by Magnified Media, the leading online marketing agency in Northern California, who invite you to grow your business by magnifying your online visibility and credibility. Visit them on the web at www.magnifiedmedia.com. Magnify your business, magnify your profits.